いつまで逃げるんだ。
What up, humans? Karumi here, and welcome to the Mobile Legends Bootcamp. In this video, we are going to talk about the fighter hero, Bane. Bane has a good set of area of effect, burst, heal, and crowd control skills. Our Lord of the Heptaseas, Bane, is a fighter hero. I consider Bane as a burst-sustaining fighter hero since his skills mostly deal burst damage to more than one enemy. Not only that, his ultimate skill is a grave threat during team fights. Now, let me share some tips and tricks on how to use Bane based on our experience. We will also teach you some combos and techniques on the latter part of this bootcamp. But before that, let me explain his skills one by one for further understanding. Bane's passive, Shark Bite, lets Bane deal splash damage to nearby enemies in a large radius. Bane's weapon is infused with tidal energy every few seconds. The damage of his next basic attack is increased by a great percentage, and deals extra splash damage to nearby enemies in a large radius. We will show you our testing on how far this skill can get on the tips and tricks section. If his skill hits an enemy hero, the infusion time of tidal energy to his weapon will be decreased by a few seconds, while hitting non-hero units will decrease the infusion time of tidal energy by a second. Bane's first skill, Crab Claw Cannon, lets Bane fire a cannonball towards a designated direction. Using this skill will let Bane fire his Crab Claw Cannon towards your specified direction. The first target hit will receive physical damage. Then, the cannonball will bounce to an enemy unit randomly, which will deal more physical damage than the initial hit. The bounce will prioritize enemy heroes first. If the initial hit of this skill kills a target, the bounce damage is increased. Bane's second skill, Rum, lets Bane get the party started. Using this skill will have Bane take a sip of rum, which will regenerate some health for him and have his movement speed increased. When Bane uses this skill again, Bane can spit venom forward in a fan-shaped area. Enemies hit will receive certain points of magic damage. The longer the venom is brewed, the more damage it will deal. Bane's ultimate skill, Deadly Catch, lets his sharks enjoy a feast. Using this skill will summon a school of sharks to move to a designated location. When the sharks hit enemies, the enemies will receive physical damage and decrease their movement and attack speed. Even not included on the description, this skill also knocks up and knocks back an enemy for a short while. This skill can be used against turrets, but its damage is decreased. There are so many items that you can buy for Bane. You can focus on items that grants physical damage, physical penetration, spell vamp, and items that grants durability. You can actually consider the Critzy Crab build if you want to focus on dealing massive critical damage. You can also consider the Octo Jungle build if you chose to be a sea creature farming in the jungle, which sounds weird. But let's talk about the Karumi way further. As a starting item, you might want to consider buying Hunter Knife. This will grant you additional experience and damage to jungle monsters. This is a great item in early game, since it will help you level up faster while killing jungle monsters. For your kicks, you can consider Warrior Boots. This item grants you additional physical defense and movement speed. Its unique passive grants additional physical defense as buff on each basic attack received. The physical defense received can stack and can reach to a maximum of 25 points. This lasts for a few moments. You also might want to consider Blade of Despair. This item grants additional physical attack and movement speed. Its unique passive will give you additional physical attack when the target's health is below a certain percentage. The movement speed bonus can also help you chase enemies or escape death. Buying attack items such as Bloodlust Axe will let you sustain your health in team fights. This item grants physical attack and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive grants Spell Vamp. Spell Vamp regenerates health points from damage dealt by skills. You might want to consider Queen's Wings. This item grants physical damage, health points, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive reduces damage taken by 50% when your health is less than 40%, and also increases your physical lifesteal by 30%. This lasts for 5 seconds. This effect has a really long cooldown. You can consider buying Berserker's Fury. This item gives you additional physical attack and critical chance. Its unique passive grants you additional critical damage on your critical hits. Also, dealing critical hits will increase your physical attack by a certain amount for a short period of time. Lastly, you might also want to consider Malefic Roar. This item grants physical attack and physical penetration. Also, basic attacks will ignore some of the turret's defense. The item build for Bane really depends on the enemy's lineup. So make sure to read each item's descriptions so you can adapt in-game. One of the best spells to be used on Bane is Arrival. This lets you teleport to an allied turret or minion after casting it for a few seconds. Your movement speed will be increased after teleporting. Also, the next basic attack will be enhanced, which will deal additional true damage, and also reducing the target's movement speed. You can also consider Purify. This will help you to be immune to crowd control skills for a short period. This will let you use your skills or basic attacks without the worry of being stunned. In my opinion, the best emblem set to be used is the Custom Fighter Emblem set. Custom Fighter Emblem could provide extra stats according to your needs as a skill-type fighter. Set Bravery to its max level because it can give you extra physical damage. Higher physical damage means higher damage for your attacks. Setting Invasion to max level will provide you physical penetration. Higher physical penetration means higher damage on your basic attacks and skills. Get Festival of Blood to be granted 8% of Spell Vamp. Killing an enemy hero grants an extra 1% Spell Vamp. This Spell Vamp is really helpful in the early game since your skills will regenerate some health for you. Set first skill to max level first. Prioritizing this makes the damage higher and the cooldown lower. That means you can easily burst squishy enemies and use it again for more damage dealing. Prioritize second skill less since your first skill is what you need for more damage dealing. Always upgrade his ultimate skill when available for upgrading. Bane's passive skill is what you need to deal massive damage to enemies around you. Take note that his weapon glows when his weapon is bestowed with this buff. Anyway, with the ability to deal splash damage to all enemies within its far radius, you can easily clear minion waves along with your other skills. You can easily cut minion waves in the early game with this combo. Take note that the splash damage deals damage to turrets as well. So it's an advantage, especially when you are trying to push that hard. But take note that when you hit turrets while having your passive skill, enemy heroes nearby might be hit, which will make the turret aggressive towards you. Lastly, the range of the splash damage is ridiculously far. On this scenario, Granger was too greedy to contribute on killing me. With my passive and first skill, he ended up kissing the ground in no time. We tested the farthest range of Bane's passive skill, on which you can find on the experiments section later. Bane's first skill is what you need to deal burst damage to the enemies. This skill's initial hit will deal physical damage to the target. The cannonball will also bounce to a random enemy as long as that target is nearby the initial target. The bounce prioritizes enemy heroes first. This skill is one of the scariest burst skill Bane has, since the bounce deals more damage than the initial hit. This is best to be used when you are chasing a dying enemy. Instead of targeting that dying target directly, you can shoot it initially at other enemies near, and have the bounce damage deal the finishing blow for a more sure kill. You can also use the bounce damage to steal jungle monsters if ever the tank tries blocking it from you. The bounce damage will have more damage when you kill the initial target. Take note that the bonus damage from killing the initial target is also applicable to minions, so it's best to let this skill bounce from a dying minion to an enemy hero. In short, utilize the bounce to harass enemies in your lane further. Bane's second skill is what you need to deal area of effect damage. Using this skill initially heals Bane for a small amount and have his movement speed increased. You can use the movement boost to either chase enemies or escape death. Also, never underestimate the heal since it can save you from clutch moments like this. Then, you can use this skill again to deal magic damage to a fan-shaped area. So you can use just this skill mainly to chase dying enemies and spit on their graves. Bane's ultimate skill is what you need in team fights. Summoning a school of shark can definitely distract the enemies from executing their evil plans. When the sharks hit an enemy, they will experience a slight knock-up and knockback and will have their movement and attack speed reduced. This is best used on tight spots like these so that most enemies will surely be hit. You can also use this skill to counter enemies that utilizes dash mobility. Take this Selena as an example. She attempted to dash forward us, but we timed our ultimate skill pretty well to push her a little backwards and upwards. Now she was just served as breakfast for our sharks. Here we are again with our experiments. We have our favorite lab rat, Rakuten, to demonstrate with us some heroes that can greatly affect Bane's performance in-game. First, let's just test the range of his passive skill. Let's test how far the reach of the splash is. As you can see, it even reached the Layla at the edge of our screen. But when we tried adding another Layla farther, the splash didn't reach her. Well, yes, the splash range is ridiculously far, but this proves that not all long-distance relationship works. Next, we have Natalia. Let's see if our splash damage can hit her when she is nearby. As you can see, Natalia was hit and had her invisibility removed. No matter how much you hide a secret, it will definitely be revealed sooner or later. Next up, we have Lolita. Let's test if her shield is reliable enough to block our skills. As you can see, she can block our first skill. She can also block our Venom Spit. But for our ultimate skill, her shield was cancelled and she was devoured by the sharks. Next, let's have Odette. The description of our ultimate skill doesn't say it has knock-up or knockback, but we noticed that there is a slight knock-up from it. So let's test if we can cancel Odette's ultimate skill. As you can see, Odette stopped singing her jam. So take note that your ultimate skill can stop channeling skills like Odette's and Farce's ultimates. Now, let's try this now against the almighty Gord. From our previous experiments, Gord's ultimate has been unstoppable. Let's see if our ultimate skill can cancel its channeling. As you can see, Gord's ultimate stopped because of the slight knock-up. So this is one of the skills you should take note of when going against Gord. Next, we have Carmilla. Carmilla's ultimate skill links enemies nearby to have them receive damage experienced by one another. Because Bane has lots of burst area of effect skills, Carmilla is a good combo with Bane with her ultimate skill. Next, we have Fanny. Let's see if Fanny can still glide with her cable against the wave created by our sharks. As you can see, even Fanny can't go against the tide. This shows that no matter how you resist, sometimes you just have to go with the flow of life. Next, we have Akai. Let's see if we can cancel Akai's ultimate skill. As you can see, Akai stopped the Spin-a-Rooney. This is helpful in team fights when Akai tries to squeeze your allies. Next, we tested if we can counter the School of Sharks with the Flicker spell. Let's see if we can just skip above the wave. As you can see, the wave can be dodged with Flicker. This is best to be used when you are trying to chase Bane and he used his ultimate skill towards you. Lastly, we have Franco. Let's see if we can cancel Franco's ultimate skill holding our ally. As you can see, we were able to free our ally from Franco's ultimate skill. So better use this to save the one you love. In terms of his combo, you can execute different combos since his skills are all considered burst damage dealer. But we will teach you the usual combo we execute during team fights. First, we use our arrival spell to respond to our allies. Then, we use second skill to boost our movement speed and to brew the venom as early as possible. Then, we use our ultimate skill towards the enemy so that they will experience the damage, knock-up, and slowing effects. Then, we use our first skill to deal further damage to the enemy. The bounce will also be useful for more burst damage dealing in team fights. By the way, you can use your basic attacks if ever you have an enemy near you. This will trigger your passive skill to deal a massive splash damage within a large radius. Then we use our second skill to deal area of effect damage in the team fight. Then deal basic attacks and use your skills whenever they're in cooldown. Additional tip: always believe in Bane. Having spell vamp from emblems or items will definitely regenerate health for Bane instantly, since you deal burst area of effect damage to enemies. With the heal from your second skill as well and the knockup plus slowing effects from your ultimate skill, this will definitely help you do a clutch move, making the enemies wanting to be back inside their mother's womb. The tips I mentioned are just some of the ways you can use Bane. This video just guides you on how to use Bane the Kurumi way. We would like to thank our guest lab rats, especially our Wakandian brother Rakuten, for being our lab rat again for this boot camp. You can search for them in-game and tell them how much you appreciate them, willing to sacrifice their pride and honor to be a lab rat. Watch their in-game streams and send some flowers and hearts. So, once again, this is Kurumi and that's how you use Bane. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe to our channel for more contents by clicking on the subscribe button below. For our skin giveaway events, check out the community tab for the giveaway post. We have our coffee account just in case you want to donate us some coffee funds. Check our coffee link on the description of this video. Please only trust boot camp videos from our official accounts. See you on the next Mobile Legends boot camp. Cheers.